Well, Donald Trump has played golf, and the man who's set to succeed him as president, Joe Biden, has prayed at church as the US waits to hear how the transfer of power at the White House will work. Mr. Trump hasn't conceded he's lost and looks certain to go ahead with legal challenges to the way votes were counted in several states. After claiming victory in his hometown of Wilmington and triggering spontaneous celebrations across the country, Mr. Biden will get to work tomorrow to form his government. ABC correspondent Greg Jennett joins us now from the Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington. Hello to you, Greg. What are we to read into President Trump's really uncharacteristic silence in the last day or so?
It can partly be explained, Kath, by the fact that the president was on his golf course in Virginia, part of his regular routine of a Sunday morning. So some things haven't changed for Donald Trump, even given the drama that swept this country more than 24 hours ago when all the pundits and all the networks called the election for Joe Biden, and then he went out and claimed it himself. But if we wind back before the Sunday morning golf outing in Virginia, Kath, there was that period of silence where the phone was put down and there were no tweets. Most unusual, as you observe, involving Donald Trump. But a bit of time passed and he did return to his theme about elections being stolen, and he's tweeted along with his wife, and we'll present some of those to you now. So he picked up the phone and got back on the tweets. First of all, since when does the lamestream media call who our next president will be? We've all learnt a lot in the last 2 weeks, he said, by way of complaint, I suppose, that the media networks made a call. And then a second, we believe these people are thieves. The big city machines are corrupt. This was a stolen election, he said, that being a reference to Democrat-controlled states and the rules and regulations under which they conducted the ballot count. And then, unusually for his wife Melania, she used her official FLOTUS account to tweet herself something political. She uses it for other purposes, but she went political today. The American people deserve fair elections. Every legal, not illegal, vote should be counted. We must protect our democracy with complete transparency, wrote the First Lady of the United States. So, yes, we're starting to hear this language after a period of silence, Kath. The language that invokes the disadvantage, the we was robbed mentality, and that will, I suppose, in time lead us to further questions about where next.
So where next for the legal challenges? We heard from Trump's attorney over the weekend saying come Monday we're going to, launch wherever we can, suggesting it might be, quite a campaign. We've already seen some of those legal challenges stood down in certain states, but where are we actually at with those legal challenges?
So that's Rudy Giuliani, to whom you just referred, Kath, and he was back in the media today talking about the scale of the litigation that they have planned. And he's sometimes not entirely on point here. He started out talking about having 10 cases or more, but when pressed in media interviews, that was wound back to more realistic numbers, it seemed, because Rudy Giuliani started talking about, maybe we're only working on 1 or 2 now, we might potentially get to 4 or 5. So in other words, they're still weighing up their options, looking at where they think they're on a stronger footing. But if we were talking 4 or 5 states, that's something that they're going to pursue. And as you've already observed, Kat, none of their cases so far have lasted very long before being laughed out of court or slapped down by state and federal circuit courts. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But no matter where the litigation lands, we'll eventually get to the question of how would Donald Trump depart the White House? Will it be done with a concession? Will that never be acknowledged by him? This is something that Mitt Romney, who was the Republican nominee in the 2012 election, unsuccessful, has addressed today. And he's offered some public advice about the language a president should use in office, and when that moment of realisation comes that you have in fact been defeated and it's time to go.
The way I would handle the week and the way President Trump would handle the week will be different because we're very different people. We're not going to change President Trump or his nature in the waning days of the presidency. And so I don't think I'm going to be giving him advice as to what to do. Clearly, people in the past, like myself, who've lost elections, have gone out in a way that said, look, I know the eyes of the world are on us, the eyes of our own people are on the institutions that we have, the eyes of history are on us. And in a setting like this, we want to preserve something which is far more important than ourselves. I'm more concerned about the language that's used. I think it's fine to pursue every legal avenue that one has, but I think one has to be careful in the choice of words. I think when you say that the election was corrupt or stolen or rigged, that's unfortunately rhetoric that gets picked up by authoritarians around the world. And I think it also discourages confidence in our democratic process here at home.
Well, Greg, let's have a look at the Biden camp. We know it's transition period. What exactly is Joe Biden doing to prepare for the start of his administration in late January?
Well, going to church, first of all, on the Sunday here. That was a few hours ago now, Kath, and again, talking about regular activities on a Sunday. That is a fixture for Joe Biden. He was down in his hometown of Wilmington, keeping it as normal as possible before the next wave starts to hit him on transition to inauguration on the 20th of January. But what he's promised publicly, Kath, is that he'll be down to work tomorrow, Monday, our time in the US, consulting that transition team. What does that involve? Well, it's pushing Democrat people out into departments. They start to size up the scale of the readiness for the teams there, what they want to change, what they want to continue, what they want to implement from day one. Now, pandemic is something that they absolutely want to address on day one. They'll start that tomorrow. They're already appointing co-chairs to a task force that will manage this nationally coordinated approach, this being one of the chief criticisms of Joe Biden throughout the campaign against Donald Trump, that he was just too hands-off. So all of that starts tomorrow and will build, as tradition dictates that it should, in the weeks and months ahead. A lot of that activity, by the way, Kath, will be regardless of what Donald Trump thinks or says from the White House. It's kind of internal, structural, mechanical stuff to do with governing America.
Now, Greg, we've been crossing to our correspondent since Election Day, ducking in and out of key states. You're in Washington there, out on the streets. Over the weekend, there was a real sense of celebration that outweighed those Trump supporters who were in the crowds. What's the atmosphere like there now, where you are near the White House?
They're indefatigable, these people, Kath. They're back out again tonight. Yes, admittedly in smaller numbers. Last night we had thousands here, and in the daytime before that, tens of thousands. It's smaller here, but it's just as committed. There's a live music stage down here pumping out beautiful music to 100 or so people. And then as you look back behind me towards the White House, probably only 80 to 100 people. It's small, it's almost somber, reflective. So some of that, jubilation that was around yesterday has given way to Sunday night mellow here in Washington. Feels quite nice, but they're still celebrating. That's the bottom line, Kath.
OK, great to catch up with you, Greg Jennett. Many thanks for joining us from Washington.